Okay, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Canadian Watch Monkey. And today, head to head, we've got the about a $200 Thorn from AliExpress versus a genuine Tudor Black Bay 58, which is on the other side of $4,000. So it's not a fair comparison, but it'd be interesting, I thought, just to compare the two watches and show you the differences and the similarities between these two. Obviously, the looks are very similar. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the Tudor Black Bay, it comes in this colorway as well, the gilt, the black with the gilt hands and dials and so on. They don't make a Thorn in the blue, so I couldn't get two identical watches. And I thought, it'll be more interesting anyways if I get the two watches that are a little bit different in the colorway. But let's get up a little bit closer and just show you the differences. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to put them on wrist. I will be putting them on a time grapher as well for you guys to see just how differently they run. So that's the Tudor Black Bay on wrist. Okay, that's the real deal. Okay, and now I'll put the Thorn on wrist. And again, this was purchased from AliExpress. I'll leave the link to it. And you can see there, that's the Thorn. And it looks really good. I was actually quite surprised at the quality. So anyways, let's get a little closer to the watch. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you guys. Okay, so there we go. So this is the Thorn. And some of the differences are that actually this uses a ceramic bezel. On both watches, let me just grab the Tudor here. On both watches, they're using sapphire glass, okay, or crystal. So those are sapphire. You're going to notice though that the one on the Tudor is a lot nicer. This one distorts a bit, and it's not as clear in a lot of the angles compared to the Tudor Black Bay. That's kind of to be expected. But still, it's impressive that they used a sapphire glass on it. And it's domed, okay? Not as heavily as the one on the Tudor, but you got to expect some differences. The bezel insert on here is aluminum, I believe. Like I said, on here, it's a ceramic. And you can see the hand styles are very similar. If you look closely at the markings, you can see the markings on this are a little bit nicer than on here. These are just printed, whereas these are applied on. You can see even the logos are a little bit similar. I guess they went with Thorn in that style because if you look at it quickly, they almost look the same as the Tudor. Here they've got the Thorn branding there, which is oddly enough very similar to the Tudor Rose, which you will see here. So you can see where they got that inspiration from. And yeah, pretty close. The bezel feel, let's take a look and see if there's a considerable difference. You can see this is very smooth. Actually, the Black Bay 58's got a really nice bezel feel to it. And of course, the alignment's going to be spot on. And it's kind of interesting to note too, one of the YouTube reviewers was mentioning too that you can actually close your eyes and you can tell when you hit that 12 o'clock position, the bezel actually has kind of a little bit of a notch there where it feels a little bit different when it gets there. So let's take a closer look here. Oh, for those of you that are in the know and you know me and my watches, you know this is not an authentic Tudor bracelet. This is an aftermarket one that I picked up. And what gives it away is that there's no rivets there. Still has a branding of Tudor in that. Even has the ceramic detents there. But yeah, enough of that. So there's the case back on the Tudor. You can see that the Tudor case back is quite plain. And let's check out the Thorn. I'm going to guess it's very similar. And it is, okay? Again, if you look at the two next to each other, not a whole lot of difference. The Tudor, of course, got some information along the edge there, but you can see that they're very similar. What else can I tell you? The Thorn here is using actually a pretty decent movement. It's not an expensive movement or anything. It's basically a Seiko NH35, and I'll be putting it on a time grapher too, so you can see how it compares to the MT5402 that's in the Tudor. But oddly enough, I asked my wife to look at these two watches and which one she liked better, and she actually picked the Thorn. And it's just like I said, you know, that's a $200 watch. You compare it to a $4,000 watch. And she said, no, but this one here, she liked the look of it. So let's get the dimensions out of the way in comparison, and you're going to see it's pretty much spot on. Let me move the camera back out a little bit for you guys. Okay, so here we got the Tudor, and it should measure in just at about 39. Okay, so that's coming at 28.9, and the Thorn is coming in at a little bit smaller. I'm surprised at that. Okay, at 37.5. Okay, so the Thorn is a little bit smaller. Case width, 13.9 on the Thorn, and 11.8 on the Tudor. So Tudor is thinner. And the lug-to-lug measurement, okay, and here is coming, I'm getting 47.2, call it 47. And on the Thorn, I think it's going to be a little bit more compact, 45.7. So the dimensions are a little bit different, but to the eye, you really can't tell. They look extremely similar. Looks like the Tudor's dial is a little bit larger than the Thorn, but you can tell, you see, these are both great looking watches. So if you're on a budget, or you just want like a little bit of a beater watch, this is a great way to go. Like for a couple $100, are you kidding me? You get the look of the Tudor. You're not going to get the quality of the Tudor or the brand recognition or anything, but if you like the look of the Tudor and you don't want to spend the money for one, this is a very good option. And like I said, I haven't really worn this watch or anything because I'm going to be reselling it after this video. So if you're interested in this watch, I'm going to be selling it, especially if you're in Canada. It's pretty advantageous too because it is here. And let's do a couple other comparisons here as far as visuals go. So you can see here, yeah, they look pretty similar. Of course, the Thorn, the crown here is unsigned. And let's turn this around here. And you can see there, again, very similar. Not a whole lot of difference as far as the visual goes. I can say in hand too, they both feel very similar. Again, I would say that the Tudor feels maybe a little bit heavier, but not significantly so. You can see they're both using female end links here. And the bracelets are kind of similar, but not really. The one on the, even though this is a replica or a copy of the Tudor bracelet, it is a much nicer bracelet, and that's very true to the original. Okay, so the moment you've been waiting for, let's put these things on a time grapher so you can see the difference. All right, so let's just do that right now. Okay, I'm just gonna put this watch in here. I think we're going to do this one. Actually, I think I've already got it set up for 53 degrees. So that's what the NH35 is. By the way, when you're testing the watch movements, you have to find out what the lift angle is, and that's pretty easy. Okay. So I'll leave the sound on too, so you can hear how different the sound is. So you can see here, the amplitude is pretty good. It's 246. And the watch is kind of settling down now into a rhythm there. And you can see it's 21,600 beats, and you can see that the lift angle is 53 degrees, which is correct for this watch. The Tudor uses 49. So you can actually see the Thorn here is doing quite well here. It's jumping around a little bit right at the moment, but it'll settle in. So you're running now at 0. And You're watching these number here, guys. Okay, so right now, 1 minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. And let's see what this last number is. Minus 1. So this is running in this position very, very well. Don't expect that all the time, but this is running very well. When you test a watch, you should be testing it in multiple positions. The Thorns and that obviously aren't. The Tudor is definitely tested in multiple positions. It's a chronometer specification, so there's a set of rules for that to be able to get that rating. Let's just move the position a bit. You'll see what I mean. You're probably going to see it. Whoops, I just bumped in the camera there. Going to see it change a little bit. So it's gone to +2. I don't want to waste too much time on here, but you can see this is doing remarkably well for like a $200 watch. Getting these kind of numbers, it's pretty good. Okay, now you can see a little bit of irregularity there. It jumped up to +12, +14. So this is kind of the numbers you would expect for this movement. Okay, so I'm just going to pause it for a sec. Now we'll put the Black Bay up. And if you remember what that sounded like, now you're going to hear the difference with just the beat rate. This is running much faster. Okay, so let's go into my settings, and I'm going to adjust the lift angle. So just go there. So it was 53. We got to get that down to 49. And for those of you that are into watches, if you've got quite a few, you definitely should be owning one of these devices, the time grapher. So it's at 49 degrees. You just go online, you can find those numbers. You just Google search it and it'll come up, or you can ask Siri or whatever. Okay, so let's put this watch in here now. Let me just open up the strap here. Or the buckle, sorry, not the strap. Okay. And let's see how the Tudor does. I expect considerably better numbers. Okay, so let's go. So the first thing you're going to notice with the Tudor is it's running a lot faster. Okay, give it a second to settle in. Right now it's -9, -11. Okay, and it will settle in for sure. Or I've got some serious problems with this watch. Okay, just give it a couple seconds. Okay, I know this is kind of boring. You know what, while we're doing that, I'll just show you that the Thorn is actually sapphire. Okay, I'm just going to turn this on here. Okay, okay, so let's test this. Okay, so that's definitely sapphire. So you can see it's starting to settle down now, -4. Okay, -4 straight across. So that's much better. And I haven't worn this watch in a little while, so it's gonna, watches will do that when they're sitting around a bit. So you can see it's very stable. -3, the amplitude is 265 degrees. The beat error is -1 milliseconds. And you can hear the sound. The watch sounds very different because this is running at a higher beat rate. The Tudor runs at 28,800 beats per hour and uses the MT5402 movement. The Thorn, as I mentioned, is the NH35, and it's running at 21,600 BPH. Okay, so you can see the numbers are definitely stabilizing. Let's rotate the watch. We'll test it in a second angle here and see how it does. Give it a moment. And what I'll do for you guys too is I'll do a loom shot of both too, so you can see the loom. Okay, so you can see now it's at -3. Now it's running zeros. Okay, so it's running perfect. So this is the kind of times that you would expect for a a chronometer. Okay, it's going to be much more stable. Anyway, enough of that. Let's do the lume shot and see how the lume compares on these two watches. Let me turn the time grapher off. Okay, let me get my magic lume maker. You can pick these up on Amazon too. It's just ultraviolet light. You can see it shines purple there. And we'll hit this with the lume. We'll hit the lume with the flashlight. Sorry. Okay. And okay, that seems about even. I'm just gonna turn this light off here, and you guys can see. So there's the lume shot, and you can see that the $200 Thorn is not doing bad at all. You guys are going to need to trust me on this. So this on the Thorn will fade out considerably faster than the Black Bay. The Black Bay lume is very good and will last all night pretty much. Of course, it diminishes, but just for shits and giggles, I'm going to light up my Panerai here so you guys can see. I didn't even put the torch on this thing. Panerais are insane for lume. They got big areas, and you'll see what I mean. It's like, that thing is a bloody torch. And trust me, that will go all night long, all right? That's one of the things with Panerai. Anyway, I think we're going to call that a wrap, you guys. Would I recommend the Thorn? Absolutely. If you're looking for an inexpensive alternative to the Black Bay 58, hell yeah, for a couple $100. It's a damn good looking watch. But again, they're in totally different leagues. But to the casual onlooker, you could definitely fool someone in thinking that is a Tudor. Now, I don't mind watches like this that are kind of the copies or replicas or whatever, as long as they keep their brand name and not putting the original company's name on it, because, well, then that's just a forgery, and that's not good at all. There's no one's going to buy this thinking it's a Tudor, because it's obviously not brand Tudor. So, would love to hear your guys' thoughts and comments on these two watches. Do you think it's worth paying considerably more for the Tudor than it is over a Thorn or like a Navy Graph by Yama that I just did a review on? It's all up to you guys. There's no right and wrong answer. Like, obviously, if you're don't have a lot of extra money kicking around, then by all means get this. But if you've got some decent funds happening and you like nicer things, then get the Tudor. You know, you really can't go wrong with either of these watches, even though they're on almost the polar ends of watch spectrum. But yeah, for a couple $100. Wow. I think anybody that holds this watch in their hand will be astounded on how good the Thorn is. Oh, the other thing I should mention too, the Thorn, it comes with the Mercedes hands as well. So it looks more even true to the Rolex Submariner kind of look. But anyway, that's it. That's a wrap. If you guys haven't already done so, please like and sub to my channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. I know over the last little while, I haven't been putting up too many videos. Just wasn't really in the mood, to be honest with you. But again, would really appreciate your support. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the Thorn versus the Black Bay 58. Again, this is the authentic one, not a replica or copy or anything. And here's I would call it more than a homage. It's not playing tribute. It's copying it basically, but it's still got the Thorn branding. All right. Anyway, take care. That's a wrap.